What's good, family? It's Tara Chantel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're gonna just get right into it, okay? No time to waste, no games to be played. I recently dropped this viral TikTok, it went some places and it stirred up a lot of conversations. And it was over the topic about sex. Sex. The whole world is doing it. Society pushes sex on all of us, and a lot of people are addicted to sex. We have different type of addiction, but sex is number one in America. And I wonder why. I wonder why do we find sensation in sex? That is usually where everybody gets off. They find themselves finally happy when they have sex. That's when they're the happiest, when they're having sex. That's when they're at peace when they're having sex. This is when they have the sensations. This is when they have the ecstasy. And I'd be like, why though? Dealing with someone who don't have sex, I have found pleasure in many other avenues. This is where I find ecstasy. This is where I find joy, doing the absolute bare minimum. It does not take a lot to please my soul. And I realized that. And y'all know, I've been the odd man out. I've been the odd one out. I've been called a weirdo. I've been called something's wrong with me. I've been looked at funny. I've been asked a lot of questions when I tell people I have no desire, no interest for sex. And it stirs up a lot of conversations because it is very out of the box, out of ordinary, hearing a woman speak on sex like I'm not doing it. And I get looked at all kinds of ways. And it's so beautiful that we have the internet. It's so beautiful that we can have these type of communication, these type of dialogues, and we have words to explain how we feel so other people can understand, and we can bring awareness that is people out here that are really not interested in having sex, and they have no desire to have sex with strangers, have sex with just any and everybody. We are living in a hookup culture. We are living in a WAP culture where they are pushing this down our throats, and it's kind of bananas if you ask me. It's kind of bananas. And realizing that it's different types of sexuality preference. And just so we can bring some type of awareness to this, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the different terms that they use to describe these type of people, because I realize that, yes, when I tell people and I bring up this conversation, because I say it loud and proud, honey, I'm not having sex. I'm not interested in having sex. And it stirs up and it shifts a lot of people's mindset, realizing that all it takes is awareness. All it takes is for other people to realize that people can think different. Everything is not for everybody. So let's talk about asexual and demisexual. They got all these type of names for all this stuff to have you truly understand when someone wants to keep their body, when someone wants to truly not indulge into that harmful behavior. Because the way my mind set up thinks about sex like, oh, I'm gonna catch an STD, or I'm gonna get pregnant, or I'm gonna get a soul tie and then end up crazy. Sex is doing too much for me because I can't even trust what you've been doing over there, and you want to stick that in me? How does that make sense? I don't know what you've been doing over there, and you expect to stick that inside of me. Like, we gotta really go deep into it and talk it out like this, because it is insane that we are just doing it with just any and everybody and not getting checked out, not going to the clinic, not seeing what are their previous conditions, because everybody don't play it safe. Most people are having unprotected sex with everybody. So you can't just be feeling special out here when everybody's sticking it in everybody. And we not only spreading germs, we are spreading spiritual connection with people. I have been abstinence, fasting from sex, fasting from flesh for 5 years now. I have tapped into a whole nother dimension on my God level frequency, because now I am extremely conscious, I'm extremely aware, and my third eye has opened so wide I can see. My third eye has opened so wide I can see, honey. And how I view sex is that it's doing too much for me. It makes me extremely uncomfortable that some people are really having the audacity to ask me to compromise my body just for them to feel good. They want me to please them. They want me to make them feel better when you can make yourself feel better. And I'm not talking about that, what you think I'm talking about. You can make yourself feel better internally, within. Because if you truly have the capabilities to tap inward, look inward, you will no longer look outside of yourself. It's no wonder why a lot of people's outer world is in a distress. It's no wonder why the outer world is in a dysfunction. Is because their inner world, they are uncomfortable with tapping in. So most people think flesh will satisfy them, and this is when they finally get this 2 minutes of sensation of peace. But what if I tell you, you can have peace throughout your whole entire day if you keep your soul pure? And you can keep your soul pure in many different other ways, but for me personally, keeping it pure on a top tier level is keeping my body to myself, and I'm keeping myself kept. We tend to be so infatuated with relationships, and they think that relationships is their purpose now. I gotta find me a man, I gotta get me a husband, I gotta get married, and that's their purpose. What if I tell you, most people did not come here to fix somebody else? You came here to fix yourself. You came here to do a mission for yourself. And I realized that I came on this mission is to discover and to experience myself. I'm not even interested in getting married. I'm not interested in having kids. I'm not interested into this way of life that they are pushing onto us, because I discovered myself. I discovered that I'm whole and I don't need anything extra to define that. And this takes a whole nother veil that came across me because I have not been sexually active. So I haven't been wrapped up into my feelings. I have been thinking about what's best for me. And in my logical mind, my mind is extremely sober when I go through this process. I'm so thankful for this 5 years of discipline, of being on this journey of fasting from flesh. You can call it all different types of names. That you can be asexual, celibacy, fasting, abstinence, demisexual, whatever definition, word that you may understand that works for you. You have to own it and be prideful of it. We have all these other prides, but nobody talking about this sexual pride that you found within yourself, that you are fulfilled, that you don't need to be so infatuated by your flesh and take over, possess you, have your flesh possessing you to make decisions that are very silly. Sex makes you do silly things, and sex can alter your whole destiny if you are doing it with the wrong person. And most people are having sex with losers, with bums, because it's such a low frequency and shallow place to be on. If all we got to do is communicate with body to body, we can't do it with our minds. We can't talk this talk. We can't be spiritual, mental, and emotional together. then all we have in common is the body, is the physical. When this, we can't even be attached to it because we don't own it. We should not possess over it, and we should not be infatuated by it. If a man can only see me as prey, can only see me for my body, and just want to have sex with me, then you are not for me, dog. And I get a lot of people up out of my way because I am strictly platonic. I strictly would love a friendship with you, homie. I don't need none of other that. I don't need anything extra because I am so good with me, with my mission of serving God. And this is the level that I have to be on and operate from if I want to serve God. I want to serve God, and how I'm really going to serve God and really be about God is keeping my legs closed, my body to myself, and really operating from the God frequency that's within, the God essence. So when people meet me, they feel my God essence, how pure my soul is, because it hasn't been tarnished. I haven't been allowing everyone and anyone in me, around me, by me, touching me, because I'm very selective with energy. As being an empath, I pick it up heavily, so I have to move different. And this is learning what works for this journey and how to discover yourself more and more. Look up these words, look up these definitions, so you can have the feelings of awareness. Wow, I'm not alone in this, because you're not alone if you don't want to have sex. I'm right here with you. You are doing what's best for you. You are listening to your heart. You are listening to your soul, and you protecting your spirit, because we are spiritual beings having this human experience, and it's all about having a spiritual balance in your life. Having a spiritual balance, doing it responsibly, whatever you choose to do, doing it with the awareness that you have a choice. Everything you do, you have a choice, and realize that these temptations will come about, and this is going to be a rehearsal of where you want to see your life to go. If you go this way, this could happen. If you go that way, that could happen. Understand that you have to tell the future before it happens. And I can do this is because I have the discernment and I have the psychic ability, because I have tapped into my inner God. So now that I see the moves that I can make strategically, I think twice before I do anything. I think before I speak. I question everything. And I listen more than I speak. And this brings me here today as having the discipline of being locked in for 5 years. And now I have realized that I am choosing to keep my body to myself is the best decision. And it has enlightened me on a next level, top tier. You're not alone in this. We got some monks, some nuns out here. You know, I feel like I'm a modern day hippie that's just doing it. That's just doing the thug thizzle. That don't have sex, you know. But love to talk about it. I love to talk about it. I appreciate you, family. This was fun. Wow, this is fun. This was fun. This was one right here. Tune in, subscribe, and I'm gonna meet you at the top, baby.